Namaste, Dr. Suhasini ma'am.
Namaste.
Madam, level 2 is about the turning points.
Yes.
What is our next turning point?
Next turning point. Okay. So in the last class we studied the personal year cycles.
Yes.
Personal year numbers. Okay. So I can say that. So today we are going to study cycles.
Cycles.
We call them the 3 period cycles. These are called 3 period cycles. Okay. Let's try to understand what it means. See, like personal year are steps. So cycles are like landing. Personal year like step by step. Like say for example, if my personal year is a 4 this year, I know that next year it's going to be 5, and last was 3.
Yes.
Okay, because they are changing every year. But now we'll be studying longer cycles.
Okay.
So from the point of view of numerology, our life path is divided into 3 cycles. So the first cycle is the month cycle, second cycle is the birthday cycle, and third cycle is the year cycle. So as you can see, Pragati, the cycles are 3 great divisions of the life path. What is life path? Is the addition of these 3. Month, day and year. Life path is the addition. So these are 3 great divisions on the life path. Okay. These are determined by the month, the day and the year.
Yes.
So month is the first cycle, day is the second cycle, and year is the third cycle. So these cycles represent the various circumstances, conditions and environment we find on our life path. So this line is our life path. Yes? Okay. Now let's take an example. We take an example 29th of May 1999. So life path of this person is 8. Okay, now this is clear?
Yes.
See, Pragati, the exact timing of leaving one cycle and entering another varies in individual cases. Like we have 3 cycles. The human cycle or the epicycle is of 9 years. So 9 multiplied by 3 is 27. Saturn also completes its revolution in 29 years. Okay, so we say approximately 27 to 29 years. That's why we are taking 28 years. So the first great change occurs at 28. So what we have to do is 28 years minus this life path number. So 28 minus his life path number. Okay, that comes to 20 years.
Yes.
Now from 0, that is birth, till 20 years, the month cycle will be the dominant cycle. Okay, or it's governed by the month number, we can say. Okay, that is 5 in this case. Now for calculating the second next cycle, so we have to see how it is shifting from first cycle to another cycle, next cycle. So 20 plus add again those 28 years, which comes to 48 years.
Yes.
So the next cycle, that is the day cycle, birthday cycle, day is the birthday cycle, will last from 20 till 48 years. And now this is governed by the birthday number, that is 11/2. So now this is the second cycle. Fine?
Yes.
For third cycle, 48 onwards. So when the second cycle ends, the third cycle starts.
Okay.
Now this is governed by the year number.
1999.
Yeah, see, we have to understand that each number has to be reduced to a single digit number. So 1999 adds to 1. So that is the 1. Now this is governed, the third cycle is governed by the year number. The first cycle is the month number, determines the influence under which the child will be during his entire youth and adolescence. Okay, this is the opening period ruled by the month number. It also reflects your previous life. It also reflects your previous life and lessons to be addressed in this lifetime. Here, parents, environment and socio-economic conditions play a major role. In some children, this cycle is difficult and affects the next cycle. Clear?
Yes.
The second cycle is the birthday number. This brings about the gradual emergence of our talents. So birthday birthday is about our talents. Youth and adolescence have passed and the young man or woman is on the threshold of the flowering or middle cycle. The initial part of this cycle, that is late 20s and mid 30s, represents a struggle to find our place in the world. This is when you are trying to prove yourself, stand on your feet. While in the late 30s, 40s and early 50s, we see a greater degree of self-mastery. The birthday number represents your inclinations and likings. This number is what you gravitate towards naturally. So this is where you actually start understanding your birthday. You mastered basically your birthday number. In the second cycle, we lose our childhood innocence of the first cycle. But we do carry forward what we learn in the first cycle. The second cycle is the middle period and it brings about our individual and creative talents. In the later part of the cycle, we develop mastery over the birthday number. The third cycle is the year number. It is the flowering period of our inner being. Self-expression and personal power are manifested to a greater degree in the final cycle. This is the last cycle of our life and represents our personality and outlook in the final days of our life. It is the state of our mind, our thoughts before we leave this world. This also means how we find our peace. In our scriptures, we say, Ante ya mati sagati. Ante means in the end, in the last phases of your life. Ya mati is your buddhi, your state of mind. Sagati, that will be your further journey. Now this last cycle, see, this is very interesting. This last cycle, which we are talking about, it could be very long if we live very long. Now let's understand each number now, individually. Okay? If your cycle number is 1, now this could be your first cycle, it could be your second cycle, or like in this case, this person is third cycle. 1.
Yes.
Okay? In our example. Okay. So if your first cycle is a 1, that means you are either born in the month of January or October. Correct?
Yes.
Now what happens, the child cannot understand independence. Child is dependent. No? So now this results, so this is a difficult period for the child. So this results in isolation and repression by those in authority. Now those for a child who are in authority, parents, caretakers, maybe grandparents, nannies, whosoever are the caretakers of the child, all those people in authority will dominate this child. So the child is replaced. Okay? If it is your middle cycle, means if you are born on the 1st, 10th, 19th or 28th of any month, it is very good because you are capable of standing on your feet, you have the strength to develop your own resources. One is about ambition, courage, progress. Good for an adolescent.
Exactly.
For an adult. It's very good. Okay. If it is your last cycle, in this case it is the last cycle, it is somewhat more difficult as the requirement is constant effort and activity. Now if your cycle is 2, with 2 in the first cycle means either the person is February born or November born.
Yes.
The child is apt to be spoiled. The emotions are on top and tears near the surface. The child may stutter or stammer. As a middle cycle, the 2, 11, 20 and 29. We are considering 11 and 29 also here because 11 also we will consider separately, but 2 also. It holds great opportunity for higher studies, a diplomatic career, adaptability, cooperation, knowledge, slow and patient development. If it is your last cycle, You may find interest in politics and an urge for collecting pictures, art, objects, or property. See, two is a collector. Two likes to collect things. Two also needs a companion. Now, if your cycle is 3, now this is a cycle of perfected self-expression. Okay? If it is your first cycle, that is if you are born in the month of March or December, it may be too expressive. There is also danger of scattering of energies or indulging in things that are frivolous, a little superficial. As a middle cycle, it's about artistic expression. It should certainly bring enjoyment of life. So see, you develop your art. If you have any art in you, it will be developed in the middle cycle, definitely. Whatever, it's 3 is about using words, expression, singing, dancing, writing, speaking, acting, whatever. All kinds of arts. As a last cycle, artistic activities again, travel, not much responsibilities, and social life is expected. So if you are in a 4 cycle, so if it is your first cycle, that means if you are born in the month of April, there is apt to be limitation or restriction of some sort, either financially or inability to express. See, 4 is about restriction, 4 is about limitation. So for a child, it's again a little difficult. As a middle cycle, that is 4, 13, 22 and 31st months. They should not lose ambition. This is the most vulnerable and foundation laying periods of your life. You have to work very hard. 4 anywhere in the chart. Work hard. As a last cycle, you will enjoy your work because you become perfect. So you enjoy the work. And you also need to take care of your health. 4 is about physical body. Also need to take care of health. Okay? If 5 is your cycle number. Now in this case, this person is born in the month of May. So this is a 5 cycle. As a first cycle, May born, element of freedom is too great. In this vibration are made the grave errors of sex and senses. Sometimes, not always. But the child may need lot of freedom. And parent may not understand.
Will not give.
May not give and may not understand that child. Okay. As a middle cycle, say if you're born on the 5th or 14th or 23rd, it means freedom, travel, opportunities, uncertainty, variety, changes, progress, release from care. The 5 is about release from responsibility. If it is your last cycle, again it means travel and pleasant variety, lot of changes in life. Movements, 5 is about movement. Now if 6 is your cycle, if it is your first cycle, that means if you are born in the month of June, 6 may be restricting, for there is a great deal of domestic responsibility connected with it. May happen that the child needs to take care of home responsibility, maybe a sibling, or take up some responsibility. Maybe the child's parents are working, maybe there is a loss of parent, or whatever. For whatever reasons, or there are grandparents at home, the child needs to take care of the grandparents. As a middle cycle, say if you're born on the 6th, 14th, 15th and 24th. It should mean responsibility, domesticity, harmony and support, and your own home and happy family. Harmony everywhere, home as well as workplace. See, 6 is not only about home. 6 is also about workplace. Harmony everywhere. So this 6, see, you are always loved and appreciated. 6 is also about marriage, partnerships, children. If 6 is your last cycle, there is always protection and harmony to be found in this number, provided the need for adjustment does not press too heavily on you. That means sometimes the responsibilities are so heavy, so high, that it becomes difficult for the person. if your cycle number is 7. As a first cycle, that is if you are July born, the child usually suffers from depression and lack of understanding. He or she lives an inner life and is considered abnormal and difficult. See, why 7 is difficult, I am telling you. 7 is about introspection. Child doesn't understand. Child cannot understand. That is where the child feels depressed, and people feel that this is a difficult child. So it's difficult for the parents also, not only the child.
Yes.
Okay. As a middle cycle, if you are born on the 7th, 16th or 25th, it's a wonderful period for the consideration of fine points and technicalities. For analysis, study, specialize, research, science, technology, philosophy, metaphysics, occultism. Relationships may be burdensome. Why? Because 7 wants to spend time alone. That is where relationships sometimes there are misunderstandings. As a last cycle, it usually leads one into philosophical fields or into some branch of research work. Physical adjustments are difficult in the cycle, but you may be a guide for people, a teacher. If your cycle is 8, so first cycle is what, August? It is usually the evidence of too much financial freedom for a child to understand, and his lack of judgment may become a handicap later in life. Sometimes what happens if the parents are very rich? Okay, so child gets that financial freedom, and the child doesn't understand how to handle the money. Or the extreme end is complete lack of money. There is extreme poverty. Your child has no money. The parents have no money. Child anyways has no money. The parents who have. So there could be issues of control and power from parents or guardians. So for August bonds, now they are generally controlled. So 8 is about control, and the child cannot control. So it gets control. As a middle cycle, if you are born on the 8th, 17 and 26 as the last cycle, it is always constructive and there is always the possibility of great achievement. You should work for big results. Time for money, work, career, commercial activity. Managers, financial planner, organizer, all that comes under it. So you have great abilities. Again, hard work. Like 4.
Yes.
Okay. So even for the last cycle, even for the last cycle, it is the same. Middle cycle as well as last cycle. Hard work, money, power, everything. So if 9 is your cycle number. Now this is the most difficult of all as a first cycle. September 1. Okay. In fact, all the higher vibrations are harder for the child and easier for the adult. Higher vibrations means 7, 8, 9, 11, 22. These are higher vibrations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 we call them lower vibrations. 6 is in between. So 6 sometimes can be here and could be there. Both. Okay, 6 is in between. So the higher vibrations are harder for the child and easier for the adult. In the very early years, under the influence of 9, the child feels vague and frightened, nervous and decentralized, as though he is standing alone in the middle of a vast field. It's a difficult number. 9 overall is a difficult number. Anywhere it comes. As a middle cycle, if you are born on the 9th, 18th or 27th. So middle cycle as well as last cycle. You become conscious of humanitarian principles and strive for selflessness in service. You need to cultivate tolerance and love. Work along the lines of art. Feel no limitations. Insist upon freedom. Do not become the victim of over-emotionalism. I always use the word hyper-emotionalism or lines. And make every effort not to love too personally, for 9 belongs to the world. And personal love affairs do not thrive in this atmosphere. Tolerance, acceptance, and universal love are the goals of 9th cycle. There is an element of sacrifice or letting go, because you have to forgive past grievances and let go of negative attachments. The more you let go, the more happy you will be. They have to drop lot of baggage. 9s carry lot of baggage. Now let's talk about the two numbers, last two numbers.
11 and 20.
20. Correct. For 11, this is a time of spiritual expansion, wisdom, and seeking higher human ideals. As a first cycle, that is November born, the child will inevitably reduce the 11 to 2.
Right.
Yeah? Later means if you are born on the 11th or 29th. No? Our example is born on the 29th, so it's
Yes.
11. Invention, inspiration, thrive in the 11. Teach and inspire. The opportunities will come along artistic, emotional, or inspirational lines. You have a great chance to make yourself famous under the influence of 11. Do not try for expression in the commercial world. See, 11 is more of a dreamer, more of an idealistic. So, commercial world may not be very good for an 11. Okay. Now 22, last number. The high power of 22 will tax the nerves and resources. Assume leadership with all possible speed. Seek only the large cooperative interests. Direct and manage. Keep yourself always occupied and take up some hobby as a sideline. This is the time of enormous potential. You can make a lasting contribution to the well-being of humanity. 22 doesn't appear in the first cycle. Month. Yeah. As middle and last cycle, this is a very powerful number. Being a master number, it is endowed with certain qualities which are not seen with other numbers. See, your cycle numbers play a major role during your travel along the path. See, you see the 3 divisions. Now this path begins at birth, ends at death. They reflect your state of mind, your attitude, your approach to life, and how you face events and circumstances you encounter in your life. So these are big steps. Like personal year, I said they're like stairs. Cycle is like a landing. That's it. It's a big cycle. So here we end cycle.